and
This may
Injustice.
surprise you, but there are a lot
The
of
Dismantling
people who
of the
are
DOJ
screeching, "We are a republic,
by
not
Mary
a
L. Trump.
democracy," because they think
Since the moment
republic
Donald was
means
sworn in on January
Republican
20th,
and
he's done
democracy
everything in his
means
power to turn the
Democrat.
Department of Justice into his personal defense firm,
I'm being
an instrument
serious.
of his personal and political revenge, and a means by which to enrich himself and his allies. Towards that end, he has installed unqualified hacks and virulently sycophantic ideologues. The result is that the once respected DOJ is currently in the business of making a mockery of its mission to protect the rights of the American people. The DOJ as we knew it no longer exists. The Civil Rights Division in particular, once the crown jewel of the DOJ, has been dismantled to a degree that is utterly shameful. According to a report by Reuters, at least 462 people have been targeted by the DOJ at the behest of the Trump regime. This includes terminations, suspensions, loss of security clearance, and investigations. Almost 100 DOJ officials have been fired or forced to retire because they worked on cases against Donald's or his allies during the Biden administration. In some cases, workers have been removed for being too woke by, for example, displaying pride flags on their desks, which is the kind of discrimination cases the Civil Rights Division used to prosecute. Then, of course, there is the incompetence of those Donald has put in charge. NBC News reports that a grand jury recently declined to indict New York Attorney General Letitia James for a second time in 2 weeks. The case was brought by Lindsay Halligan, who once served as Donald's personal attorney. She has no prosecutorial experience, and the case was deemed too weak to proceed because Halligan is woefully unqualified. More importantly, the prosecution of James is, without doubt, a vindictive one. The only reason the DOJ has been going after her is because, as Attorney General of New York State, she won a significant civil lawsuit against Donald. He was found liable for fraud and ordered to pay $355 million plus interest. According to the Brennan Center for Justice, Donald has dismantled the DOJ's internal safeguards against abuses of power as well. He's weakened the Office of Professional Responsibility and the Public Integrity and Civil Rights Divisions and fired inspectors general. Career ethics and oversight officials have been fired, demoted, or replaced with loyalists because Donald is interested in neither oversight nor ethics. He wants the few remaining guardrails gone. We're seeing the effects of these changes in Donald's flagrant misuse of his pardon powers, a power in which the DOJ plays a crucial role. Newsweek recently compiled a full list of the people Donald has pardoned this year, noting that his first act on Inauguration Day was to pardon nearly all defendants in the January 6th insurrection in the U.S. Capitol. This list of roughly 1,500 people included defendants convicted of violent assaults on police officers. It also included 10 people who'd been found guilty of sedition, the second most grave crime against the United States of America. Some of those pardoned were serving sentences of up to 18 years in prison for the horrific crimes they committed on January 6, 2021. Pardoning them was Donald's top priority. Since then, Donald has corruptly pardoned political figures, law enforcement officers, anti-abortion activists, white-collar criminals, and random celebrities. One of Donald's recent and most horrific pardons was granted to the ex-president of Honduras, Juan Orlando Hernandez, who was serving a 46-year prison sentence for crimes that included corruption, money laundering, and drug trafficking, including complicity in sending hundreds of thousands of kilos of cocaine into the United States. This comes from a president who is allegedly so concerned about drugs flooding into this country that he is murdering alleged drug traffickers in the Caribbean Sea. Evidence of the guilt of those Donald pardons is often overwhelming, but he repeatedly frames the recipients as victims of the biased Biden DOJ or corrupt prosecutors. Because every accusation is a confession. Donald is a criminal. He surrounds himself with criminals, and he pardons criminals. The attorneys at the DOJ are no longer there to defend the Constitution. They are there to pervert it. They are not there to defend Americans who have been discriminated against. They are there to protect those who discriminate. They are not there to protect voting rights. They are there to make voting harder under the guise of fighting against voter fraud, which, in the United States, is functionally non-existent. They are not there to engage in righteous prosecutions. They are there to ruin the lives of those who have stood up to Donald or who have